Trouble! Make it double!
Alright, we're revisiting this fight now that I've tried to play it free-to-play for about the last 3 hours, and I actually managed to beat it with Bennett, and the fact that I have to use Bennett to beat the fucking thing makes it even more of a BS fight. Anywho, I calmed down a little bit, I got my food, I got my water, I'm calmed down a little bit, but the problem with this fight is that there's way too many problems with attack overlap, and just the fact that the cryo AoE field is probably the biggest problem with the entire fight. The AoE field basically denies you every single possible form of access when it comes to dodging the Anemo side of the fight. Because if you place it, if you're unlucky enough to have him place it like in the middle of the field, you have no choice either to pop a shield and have to make sure that you just tank the damage, which shouldn't be a mechanic you should be abusing in the first place, or you just straight up die, I guess. Like, I guess I'll die. And the problem with that is that it doesn't encourage proper fighting. Proper fighting is when you're able to properly strategize and not rely on invincibility frames, whether by using a elemental burst or perhaps even just, I don't know, popping a shield and hopefully that you're able to tank the damage. Proper dodging and such, along with little to no RNG when it comes to the fight, is pretty much key to making a good boss fight. But the problem with this one is you're kind of screwed whether or not you'll just kind of get lucky, or if you manage to place them in the point where you're able to do damage to both of them. But even then, it's very difficult to do free to play. So, with that being said, I'm going to put my skill multiplier on expert, rewards all the way to the minimum. Number of wind blades is increased. I think it's like 4 now, and then if you use wind blades 100, it'll be like 6. So that's even more bullshit. Chance of frost drive triggers increase, the number of thrusts is increased. That means that it will be 3 times, which is fine, I guess, but it's just more annoying to deal with. And I'm just going to turn off every single like debuff here. I guess I'll put on a Nemo resistance because I'm not using a Nemo characters, but even then, look how little points I have. Like, it's just so annoying. Like, I don't understand who thought this fight was a good idea. You can call me bad all you want, but if your form of being good is to make sure that you have a limited time access character and being able to out-heal the damage that you've been able to tank, then you're not good at the game. You're just able to be invincible, and there's a massive difference between this and that, so shut your mouth, you dumbass gotcha-tards. Anyway, I'm gonna use Traveler, Amber, Noelle, and Kaya. Kaya is here because he is the tallest free-to-play male character, which gives you the highest amount of dash distance, because you kind of need him to avoid the Anemo Genki slashes, or else you're kind of fucked. And even then, sometimes you just have to tank the damage with Noelle's shield. That's why she's here. Amber is here to do damage to the people inside the AoE cryo field, because sometimes they just like to stick together and suck each other's cocks. And Traveler is here to do sort of range damage by dropping Geo Rocks, and that's kind of how you defeat this fight. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to turn off the health multiplier, because I don't want to deal with that today. So let's start. And of course, you can bring a co-op friend in here, but here's the thing, not everyone has a friend to play co-op with. It's a whale and DPS check. Don't hide as to what it is, because if you're going to say, oh, just grab a friend and co-op, listen, man, okay? Not everyone has fucking friends when they play like this, okay? I can grab my friends and do that, but am I going to say that's a reliable way of beating it? No, it's not, because it's just dumb if you got to rely on another person to help you with the fight when most of the game is done single player. Anyway, I'm done ranting, let's get into the fight. Let's eat our food. So let's eat, say, I want to eat my jade parcels, and I'll also eat, let's say, a golden crab, because I want to increase my defense, and healing effects by 8%. Cool, I suppose. And for the damage potion, because you can eat potions and food at the same time, just not 2 types of the same food. So if I eat the moon pie, it cancels out the golden crab and vice versa. So let's eat a geo damage potion. And I'll also improve my stamina by eating a Barbados Ratatouille, probably the easiest 3-star things to make in the game. Just talk to the nun up north. She is most likely right here. Anywho, so you're probably going to see a fade here because it's so BS that I'm probably going to have to resort to multiple takes of the fight. But basically, when it comes to fighting, you just basically drop a rock on the left and run away, because otherwise you will not be able to dodge the 4 slashes that the Enemo Genki will always throw at you. He will always thrust 4 times of wind at you at the beginning of the fight. Cryo Dude has 4 different moves. Enemo has 2 different moves. Together to make 6, quick maths. And the biggest problem with the Cryo is the AoE field that he puts down. Otherwise, let's get into the fight. Good luck to everyone. And most likely, I hope I'll never see this fucking boss again. Alright, here we go. Alright, so when you begin the fight, drop a rock on this guy, and just run away, because it'll always start the fight with 4 blades. So I want him to apply the Cryo AoE field there, because it actually allows me to do some damage to this guy. Baron Bunny only distract him a little bit. I'm gonna die here because I won't be able to dodge that shit. Alright, so after being able to dodge that shit by using burst frames, let him drop the AoE field, because they're at a distance, so bring out Amber and just start shooting. I saw the blades coming from a mile away, so I'm able to dodge out of that. But now he's very close to me, so I'm not sure when he's going to fucking swipe at me. He'll always swipe 3 times. So whenever that glint appears, along with the massive sound effect, be sure to dodge out of that. And basically keeping Genki away, the Enemo Genki away, is probably the biggest challenge, because both of them like the bum rush you. He does that. Look at that weird ass look AoE field there. He has no animation for the second slice, which is super annoying. So I'm gonna have him do the AoE field over there again. But even then, this is one of the best like RNG fights I've had, because most likely in the other fights I've always been. Oh, here it is. Yep. Look at that. I jinxed it. Because look what happened there. Okay, what happened there is that the attacks overlapped, and so even if I were to dodge out of the Enemo Genki way or the Cryo Genki, I'm going to die, because even as I were to dodge the initial Cryo thing, look at that. Yo, the attacks overlapped again. The attacks overlapped so bad that it would have been impossible for me to dodge regardless of what I did. So I'm gonna include that in this guide because it's so dumb. Like, it's one of the dumbest mechanics to exist in the entire fight, because it's so frustrating. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. There's literally nothing you can do about it. And it's just so retarded. Like, who designed this? Okay, I can dodge out of this just fine. But even then, like, if the guy was swiping at me with the 4 blades like this, I would have died. I would have died immediately. And it's so dumb as to how this was approved as to how you want to fight this fight. It's so dumb. Like, there is no possible way to dodge that. And it's so infuriating. So I'm gonna heal with the MRE. And I'm gonna use Amber's arrows to fight this again and just kill this guy, because I hate this guy. Fuck this guy. And now the fight is monumentally easier because this guy only has only has 2 forms of slashes, and I'm just gonna keep him in cryo. The only other way to dodge the Enemo dude is basically run a circle around him. That's kind of the only way to do it. That's it. Even then, I'm not gonna make this a perfect guide because it just showcases how stupid the mechanics are. It's living proof that I've had attack overlap twice. And can you do anything about that other than using invincibility frames from the bursts and or being able to use a shield? No. And you shouldn't be able to rely, or you shouldn't have to rely on those mechanics to get away with the fight. If a fight has to do that, it's a bad boss fight. Nobody understands this for whatever reason. Like, just because you've been abused or you've been able to pull enough or get lucky with a certain unit or two doesn't make it so that it's a good fight. It just means that you're able to be invincible rather than use proper strategy and use iframes and dodges and all that. Because all the other fights that I've made guides on, just such as the Andreas fight or the actual Mengu Genki fight, is based on proper dodging and being able to fight at a distance. It's not being able to abuse the fact that you become invincible when you press a button. So with that, I'll leave it at that because it's such a dumb fight. And I don't understand who thought it was a good idea to have 2 Genkis at once do the fucking AoE shit. Because here's the thing. The fight would have been a lot easier, or at least more reasonable, if he didn't drop the cryo AoE field. Because the AoE field makes it so that you are forced into distances where the AI thinks it's okay to overlap those attacks. Between the choice of freezing your legs off and dying, or being slashed by 2 different enemies at the same time and dying, I don't want either, okay? It's such a dumb fight. I don't understand why this was approved, but you know what? People are complaining about it, and people are also not complaining about it because they think it's super easy or it's super fun. Fuck you, alright? You're a fucking gotcha-tard. Anyway, here is my stats. Festering Desire, Sharpshooter's Oath, White Blind, and the Prototype Rancour. For the artifacts, 4-piece Noblesse, Ember with the 4-piece Wanderer's Troop, Retracing Bulllight on Noelle, and Braveheart on Kaya because I don't use him at all. Constellation 1 on this guy, but I don't really use him much other than to apply Cryo. C6 Noelle, please don't worry about that because you can do this with a C0 Noelle. Hopefully you can, I don't know. C2 Ember, but of course C0 Ember is just as good. And when it comes to Traveler, you get constellations for free, but to be fair, all you kind of needed was to level up your character, and that's kind of it. It doesn't matter what constellation your Geo Traveler is, although I'm assuming that if you don't have C6, you're probably already too underleveled for this fucking event. So, talents are 7, 11, 11, 8, 8, 8, 8, 11, 11, and 2, 2, 2, and that's kind of it. Good luck to anyone trying to do this free-to-play. I'm assuming that one of you, or most likely all of you, have some form of 5-star character, but even then, it's an unreasonable expectation to have to rely on a different character that can't be used by base game, because all bosses should be doable with the four original squad, with the original 4, or original 6 rather. We have Traveler, Amber, Noelle, Kaya, Lisa, Xiangling, and Amber, so original 7. If you can't do it with the original 7, there's something wrong with your fight, and clearly there was no playtesting when it came to this shit. Anyway, that's the guide. I'm going to release some extra videos later on today when it comes to the teapot voice lines, but otherwise, yeah, this is not going to be a good event, because I heard the next one will be Anti-Shield Primogeova Shop, which is fine, but the problem is, I'm pretty sure that fight was revolved around using shields anyway, so I'm gonna call it. GG's, boys. Hate this fucking thing.